Welcome back to Crusade With Me. The world is trying to shape you every day through what you watch, through what you believe, through what you fear, through what you pursue. The question is whether you're being formed, because you are. The question is who or what is forming you. Here we explore the faith, purpose, wisdom, discipline, leadership, and the practical pursuit of becoming the person God created you to be. Together we'll strengthen the body, renew the mind, and cultivate the spirit as we seek to follow Christ in an increasingly complicated world. I'm Dave, and Kathy's here. And thank you for joining us. Now, let's continue the crusade. Well, hello, my queen. How are you?
I'm good.
You're good? Well,
Good.
You're okay. You're
good.
faking good.
No. It's mind over matter.
Well, I don't have a mind and it don't matter because I'm doing it anyway. No, I know you've been under the weather. Honestly, I think you got something from Reverend Schumacher.
No.
Ever since then, you've not been well.
No, my mom was sick last weekend. And then
You were sick last Sunday.
Yeah. And then, but not with the same thing. And then I went to visit her on Tuesday. And so I must have picked up something from her. But it really, again, I'm a great hostess.
You were.
I am very inviting. I encourage things to stay and stick around. And you have done a great job. You have cooked 2 meals. I love when you cook.
One was KFC. I really didn't cook that, but okay.
Yeah, and that didn't agree with me. But, yeah.
We'll blame it on the coleslaw.
Yeah. And I tried to not overdo on the coleslaw, but it was good.
It was a temptation that you could not bear.
I could not. Yeah. I could not. I even just took a spoonful.
I know, and then you went back.
And I went back for more.
That's life.
Yeah.
That's life, is it not? I mean, we have these,
Yeah.
I've made it well known on these podcasts, right? I mean, I'm a smoker. I've smoked for 50 years. That's something I've not been able to. I've wrestled with myself many times, but
And we just
it is what it is.
You just cooked us a hot dog on the grill because it is Independence Day.
It is actually Independence Day today, yes.
And
this will be dropping Tuesday. So this is going to be looking back, even though we're actually on the day itself. So we did. We had, we sat right here with our microphones and had hot dogs and I had sweet tea and potato chips with my special, the McKee special potato chip dip, which is?
It's just sour cream and Lipton onion soup mix.
Correct. That's what I grew up on. And then you had bought a bag of
Cracker Jacks.
Cracker Jacks. That was a huge treat.
Yeah.
Even when I was a kid, that was a huge treat.
Mm-hmm.
You picked up my sticker, my little
treat.
gift. Yeah. My treat was a sticker.
I dug in there.
I hated when it was a sticker. You know, I was always expecting like a
tattoo,
a BB gun, or a slingshot, and it was always just a sticker or a removable tattoo. The anticipation and the disappointment, it really sets you up for adulthood, actually.
Yeah, right. You know, right, life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, right. Today is America turns 250 years old today.
Yeah. I don't suppose we'll be around in another 50 years.
Well, probably not.
If we are, we'll be drooling.
Probably. But I was thinking, this is what I want to talk about on this episode is I got some questions, right? And that's what I'm going to try to do is we're just going to try to shift this up a little bit. Shift this up a little bit.
Well, that was close.
And just ask some questions, and we'll answer some questions together. And then we'll leave it open-ended. I'll leave a question at the end for listeners to answer. And they can go to the YouTube channel, and they can respond to the episode on YouTube and put their response to the answer, to their answer to the question. And, we've been looking at, and I think I let it be known that we weren't just arbitrarily picking scriptures out of the Bible and reading them. We were actually following the 1-year lectionary from the LCMS, right? That's the historic lectionary. And so we're going to break away from that for a little bit here because we're going to break into a series. The next episode, we'll start a new series. So we'll get into that. But the reading that was for this Sunday, the fourth Sunday after Trinity, came from Romans chapter 8. And it is written, "For I consider that the suffering of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that is to be revealed to us. For the anxious longing of the creation waits eagerly for the revealing of the sons of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself also will be set free from its slavery to corruption into the freedom of the glory of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groans and suffers the pains of childbirth together until now. And not only this, but also we ourselves have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting eagerly for our adoption as sons, the redemption of our body." I just thought that was really kind of apropos that was the reading assigned for tomorrow, Sunday's fourth Sunday after Trinity, and it's today we're celebrating the 250th birthday of America, and America's known, right, for freedom. So the first question out of the box is, what you think about America? What do you think about America? And I'll go first. Mm-hmm. I know that's not fair, but I only gave you these questions a little bit ago, so.
Yeah, well, I've been sleeping most of the day.
Yes, you have, because you're not feeling well. Look, I love America. I am a patriot. I am. Mm-hmm. I am disgusted a lot of times, but by the same token, I am also very disgusted a lot of times with America. And I'm not talking about maybe the population, but honestly, government.
Right.
And government inefficiency and and corruption. And as Solomon writes in Proverbs or in Ecclesiastes, there's nothing new under the sun. You can listen back. I was just looking back through episodes because, I'll get to that in a little bit. But we did an episode called The Maccabean Rebellion or The Maccabean Stand. I can't remember exactly what the title was. And I think it was back in December or November we did that episode. And the Maccabean Rebellion was almost a version of the American Revolution. All right. It was to stop and fight corruption. And they just wanted to have their quote unquote religious freedom and left alone. And so there was this Maccabean Rebellion. But man, has this country afforded me, I would not, I am so grateful that I was born here. And I'm grateful you were born here. Mm-hmm. That I thank God for that. It's a blessing. Mm-hmm. Because there's many issues and problems and if you're not aware of any issues and problems in the United States of America, let me know the address of the rock you're living under, because I might want to come join you. but yeah, that's my take. What's your take?
Well, I think that, clearly I read your question wrong. I didn't understand how you wrote it, so.
All right, but what do you think about America? And then, the follow-up to that is,
okay, yeah. So I took it as one question.
What are you most grateful for?
But I think I can go ahead and.
Yeah.
So we've been watching these two series, but I feel like they kind of go hand in hand on Netflix over the last couple of weeks. One of them was about Washington, and the other one was
The American Experiment.
Yeah, which covers the founding fathers and how we got to the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, which it's like a 5-part series. We really could have skipped the Washington part because
we just watched a whole series on Washington.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first 2 episodes are kind of really about Washington. And I think that what it really says about the whole founding fathers is, in comparison to today, was the purity of their intentions. And not all of them, as they went on, then there started to be a lot of but definitely Washington's. He was a very humble person in his presidency.
Yeah, I don't think humble is a good term for him. I think that because he was extremely prideful, and pride is a sin in my book. But he was extremely prideful. He was
in his military.
He always was concerned about, and I'm not saying this is, need to keep pride in check. He was always concerned about what his reputation, his honor, did not want to defile the honor, because he built that, right? That was a goal of his, and he did. But even in that, you could read between the lines. There were some things, If it wasn't George Washington, it was Dave McKee, and I ran a mission to go get a message to foreign diplomats, and I ended up killing them all. I would probably be in prison and not...
I was clarifying his presidency.
Right. But I'm just saying that all of those, yes.
It was a lot less political.
It was. Well, they didn't have parties, right?
Well, by the end of his presidency, they were definitely splitting into party lines.
And, Benjamin Franklin said, because I can't remember the name of the lady, she was a wealthy woman from Philadelphia, or from New York, said, this Constitution is unbelievable. It is the most beautiful document. And he said, I agree if we can keep it. Right? There were always these concerns. There were always these concerns.
But can you imagine starting from the ground floor?
No.
I mean, some of the force. I mean, so you can have your complaints, but they were starting.
I agree.
And even the fact that, the revolution, that we were able to break away and win against a complete
empire.
Yes.
Sorry.
I mean, so I guess I guess I'm grateful to the founding fathers for their foresight and every colonist. I mean, and that was something that I guess I'd never thought about before, that this was not a clear slate that all Americans, or they really weren't Americans at that time. They were colonists. I mean, they were, but this was not hey, this is 100%, we're all on board. This was
exactly right.
They were split amongst themselves whether they wanted to break away from England. Even in their own households.
Like on the American Experiment, when you get to 1787 and 1788, when they go to ratify the Constitution, they struggled to get it done. They had to make huge compromises.
Right.
Like, they didn't even, all the colonies didn't even want, as a matter of fact, not all of them did.
Right.
They only had to get 9, and they struggled to get 9, and they finally got 9 with some compromises. Mm-hmm. And that C word right there, the word compromise, I think is what we've lost. One of the major things we've lost in our country today, in our politics. And I don't want to talk about politics on this podcast. But
So that would be, I'm grateful to the founding fathers. I'm grateful to those who have laid down their lives clearly, because in John 15:13 it says, "Greater is no love than he who laid down his life for a friend." And then I am grateful for our religious freedoms. I mean, clearly, I think I've talked about that before. I have a fear of leaving
this country
just to go on vacation. And, we've had many people tell us, where we should go.
Sorry.
On our 40th anniversary, and I'm like, I am not leaving. I'm not leaving. I mean, and I do have a desire to go to the Holy Lands, and no, but we've there are
Crusade with me. Get my wife back.
But there are missionaries
risks.
who have lost their lives, going to foreign countries to spread the gospel, and God bless them, because other countries do not have religious freedoms that we have, and we should never take that for granted.
Well, and I think I got sidetracked because I don't listen to all of our episodes, but I was listening to Reverend Schumacher and Mize, and I was getting ready to ask him a question, and he had said something that I got sidetracked and I forgot. I was listening to an episode of a podcast coming home from work the other day called Issues, Etc., which is from a Lutheran. It's the Missouri Synod. It's a podcast, and I don't know the name of the guy who does it. But anyway, he was interviewing a pastor, a Lutheran pastor from, I think it was Finland. I think he said Finland. Yeah, Finland. And you know what blew my mind? In the 21st century, Finland is a Lutheran country. The pastor is paid by the government. Yeah. But he said something interesting to me. He said, because Lutheran is the faith of the country, so my salary is paid for by the government. When everybody's Lutheran, nobody's Lutheran. And I thought that was the most interesting, just thinking about that. Because they talk about Lutherans more, and I think a lot of denominations, just like I don't think that in Italy, many people talk about anything religious-wise because they're pretty much all Catholic. And I'm making assumptions. And at least in back in history they were. But there's something to be said about, because, and I don't want to get into this. This is not what this podcast is even about. I don't want this to be about Lutheran or about Roman Catholic or about other low church Protestants or whatever. I want it to be about what Scripture says. And I believe, like Reverend Schumacher said, you do that and you're being Lutheran, right? So I don't want to push. But I think that's an interesting concept when someone says, if everybody is this, technically nobody's this, because there's no pushback, there's nothing different, there's just, we didn't have that in this country. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of different faiths. And to your point, we couldn't even agree on a form of government to put off the monarchy. Mm-hmm. Because we're finicky people.
Right.
And we still are finicky people. There's left-leaning, there's right-leaning, and are they both right? In some areas, yes. I mean, but that's America. So here's a question. I just read Romans 8, and it's talking about freedom. What kind of freedom has Jesus given you that America never could? Fireworks.
Oh.
In the middle of the day.
In the middle of the day.
In the middle of the night. Sorry.
Well, I felt like I could do a lot, but I wrote down fear. And then, but because Philippians 4:7 says that,
No, absolutely
that
right.
peace that Christ offers us, the peace that passes all understanding.
Right.
So that's what
Freedom from fear.
Jesus
Exactly
gives
right.
us.
I love that.
America cannot. And shame, and Jesus offers us in Romans 8:1. I guess I should read that since we were just there. There is therefore no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. And then he offers us freedom of death.
Correct.
Also in Romans 8:2, for the law of the Spirit of life has set you free. Free in Christ Jesus from the law of sin and death.
Correct. So sin and death is another thing that Christ can give you freedom from that America can't. I mean, they can give you freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of opportunity, but we can't get freedom. All the things you just listed were on my list. Guilt, shame, fear, death, sin. Did you look at my list?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we came up with the same ones. It's pretty awesome. It's kind of like we know each other or something. I don't know. Here's the toughie. If you could leave one piece of advice for our grandchildren as America begins its next 250 years, what would it be?
Well, I kind of talked about this with you when we were eating lunch without telling you what it was, but I'm sure you could guess. I said, that's really hard.
It is
to
hard.
pick one thing. But knowing who Jesus is, and when he sums up what the greatest thing is, the greatest of these is love.
Right.
And I feel that if that's what I'm going to leave, my advice to my grandchildren would be is to love. And so I just picked 3 scriptures, which is 1 Corinthians 13:4, which talks about the greatest of these is love.
Correct.
And what love is.
That's a great, they read that at our wedding 40 years ago.
Love is patient, love is kind.
Correct. Well, it starts
love
with,
is not jealous.
it starts with, what is it? If
I'm a noisy gong.
if our clanging cymbal,
Cymbal.
and I do not have love, I'm nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Right.
And then Galatians 5:22 is the fruit of the Spirit. And then in Ephesians 4:15, you need to speak the truth in love. So those were just...
And love begets a lot of other things, right? And then you go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and it tells you what love does. But if you look at Christ, I think he's a shining example of love, right? And one thing Christ was with people was he was honest. And he was kind. I always make reference back to that famous, when they bring the woman that was caught in the act of committing adultery. I don't know what happened to the guy, shockingly. But they bring the woman to Jesus and say, the law says she ought to be stoned. And, infamously, he bends down and he starts using his finger and writing. And no one knows. No one knows. I'm waiting for one of these really creative filmmakers, like Mel Gibson could probably do a pretty awesome job with that, if he could make that, because I have 2 or 3 thoughts either he's writing names of people in the crowd that have committed adultery, one thought of mine, or he's writing the names of women that the men in the crowd have committed adultery with. I don't know what it is. You know, I don't know what it is. But the beauty of this, like I said, always with Scripture, there's so many depths and layers to these things, right? And I'm surmising, I'm hypothesizing. There's no evidence to anything I just said, other than the fact that he's bent down. It's not recorded what he was doing. He could have been doodling. I don't think so, but who knows? In that story, it says the older men of the group dropped their stones and walked away.
So it got their attention.
Yes. Well, the young hotheads, it takes a little bit more to calm them down because they're all riled up, right? And it takes the young hotheads longer and more and then they see the elders, he kind of got us here, and they walk away. And finally, the younger ones kind of follow suit. I think that is what did he say to her? He said, he didn't call her a harlot. He said,
go and sin no
more.
Go
and sin no more. He didn't shame her. He didn't guilt her. Go and sin no more.
Right.
That's pretty remarkable in my mind. And that's an absolute demonstration of love. Yeah.
Well, and Jesus tells us to love our neighbors as ourselves. Some of us love ourselves a lot.
Yeah.
Some of us don't think very highly of ourselves. So,
well, Paul tells us not to, but anyway, go ahead.
So if we're to put others before ourselves, and if we're walking in a lifestyle that's what we're doing, and I know we've talked about this, touched on this a lot. There's a lot of importance. It's brought up over and over and over and over again. This is pretty important. I mean, in our own personal faith, we this isn't our confession and absolution that we should, we confess, so we have not loved our neighbors as ourselves.
Correct.
Obviously, that's not just referring to our
physical neighbors.
Physical next door neighbors.
Correct.
Although sometimes it can mean that, but
exactly right.
So that's why I chose.
No, I think that was great. I think my advice to my grandchildren will be love God first. For the same reasons you just chose love, I'm like, love God first. Because if they love God first,
this
all this is my thought, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I was going.
Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your spirit.
Yep. Exactly right. So I got a listener question. And this is kind of we got to think about, right? It's not just a break leather, as I say, a break leather and shoot answer. Where do you ultimately place your hope? In the future of America or in the kingdom of God? And then there's a part 2 to this. If America became less free tomorrow, would Christ be enough for you? What do you think, my love? Where do you ultimately place your hope?
Well, obviously, I place my hope in God and God alone.
Correct.
And if America became less free tomorrow, would Christ still be enough? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, slowly over time,
what?
America is becoming less and less free.
Absolutely.
I mean, and again, I've considered myself a patriot like you. I mean, I think from a male perspective, everybody has been, men kind of are the hoorahs of every little boy has, had their G.I. Joes and probably mentally played that. And maybe girls too. I just wasn't one of them. But I had brothers. I saw how that went.
Right.
And, either prepared mentally or thought that's what they wanted to do. But as far as deep down, there's patriotism in me. There's pride in me for family members who have served.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I can get the chills listening to songs. I can be prideful when I see military. Sure. But I think a lot of politics has really screwed up and taken away, robbed me of that joy of where we are. But there's a lot
your
of
freedom
fear.
ringing bell isn't ringing so so clearly.
I know, Toby.
Well, I was thinking back of your fa la 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 la, lost my fa la
yeah.
la la la. I was trying to mimic that.
Yeah.
Did your
As long as the Toby Keith song can still play, that'll always be there. But I think there's a certain amount of fear. Again, not diving into anything, but I think once you've seen things for what they are,
correct.
Once you've put your hope in something that has failed you, yeah,
I agree.
But that's fine because my hope is not in this world. My hope is not in a leader. Right. My hope is not in the government.
We could look at Psalms, right? Psalms is replete with, if you're looking for a king, you're going to be disappointed. And I'm paraphrasing, I know, but
right.
Absolutely.
So almost it's kind of quasi not good thing or good thing that for several years we thought, oh, this is great, this is this is a good thing, he's gonna save us, he's gonna clean house, he's gonna or what was promised. No, now it's like no. And I don't think there's ever going to be anybody that's going to.
Well, corruption is, and look, and history repeats itself. We've made it 250 years. And there have been civilizations and empires, right? We've made it long, and we've not always been an empire, but honestly, 250 years is pretty good, and we are the superpower of the world momentarily. When I say momentarily, I don't mean like we're losing it tomorrow. I'm just saying that in the span of the globe and this time, we are. The Romans had an empire that fell. Truly, it fell from within. I know they say the barbarians invaded. It had already fallen. All right, it just made it easier for the barbarians to invade. The Byzantine Empire was no different. I guess that's Roman Empire number 2. You had the Persian Empire, which is back in biblical times, in the Old Testament. King Xerxes absolutely had an empire. You had Alexander the Great in the Greek Empire, who was Macedonian, by the way. But anyway, then you had the Ottoman Empire, which is the Muslim Empire from the Middle East, moved up into Turkey. You had the Mongolian Empire, or Genghis Khan, right? One of my favorites to read about. Not a lot of history. I mean, not a lot of great data there, but I think he is way overlooked on what he actually did for civilization, not just as an empire, but for civilization. Then there were several different empires within China, and they're not around anymore. I don't think America will be an empire forever, because history doesn't say it will, right? It doesn't happen that way. The only kingdom I know that is going to last is God's kingdom, because he created all of this. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want to end on a down note.
I know.
But, okay, let's, for 250 years, America has sought liberty. But Roman 8 did remind us that the deepest freedom isn't found in the Constitution or an election or an economy. It's found in Jesus Christ, who set sinners free from condemnation and calls us children of God. So as we celebrate our nation's birth, may we never forget the greater citizenship we have in heaven. Thank you for spending this time with us today. My hope is that something you've heard in this episode doesn't simply give you something to think about, but give you something to live. Knowledge can inform us. Wisdom transform us. The transformation happens one faithful step at a time. So wherever you are, whatever your challenge you're facing, remember, God is not finished with you. Keep growing, keep learning, keep serving, keep following Christ. And above all, keep becoming. So until next time, grace and peace, and remember, continue to crusade with me.